In this video, I'm going to talk a bit about the other edit tools that are available in Premiere Pro. So we can do a lot with our basic edit tool. That's where we get the red crop tool showing us which way we're going to trim a video. But we have some other options in here that could save you a lot of time. So over here in our toolbar, see we have this called the Ripple Edit tool, and there's also some options underneath it. So I'm going to talk about the Ripple Edit and then the Rolling Edit tool. So I've got my Ripple Edit tool, and you notice when I have this tool, instead of red, my trim indicator is yellow. So normally if I wanted to trim out this clip, for example, make it longer, my normal red editing tool, which you have by default if you're just in the selection tool, is not going to let me move that because there's another clip right up against it. However, if I am in the Ripple tool, I can edit that out and it pushes everything else downstream without overwriting it. There's no conflicts or anything. It also works the other way. So if I shorten a clip, everything else moves upstream, sort of automatically doing a ripple delete on that space. So that's the benefit of the Ripple tool. Automatically moves things up and downstream, saves you time doing your right-click ripple deletes. Or dragging and dropping a lot of stuff. If you click and hold on the Ripple tool, then you'll see the Rolling Edit tool. And here, if you watch the action here on the edit, it keeps the edit point attached to the tool and moves it back and forth. So the overall length of the two clips is not changed. I can still move the inside, but there's no upstream or downstream rippling happening. So just the complete beginning to end time is preserved. So if you look at the program panel while I drag this rolling edit back and forth, you can see time codes on each of the clips. So obviously if you have sound, this isn't going to be super helpful, but visually you can make the edit actually quite precise. So if you know this edit needs to change, you can look up to the top there and you can see the two guys on the left, which are the writers from the Writers 2 clip. The time on their clip is about 26 seconds. If we look at the couple, their time is about 23. So if I drag this downstream, you can see I'm editing out of the two guys on the left later and into the couple on the right later, and you can see that reflected in the numbers. So if you've looked at this stuff in your source panel, for example, from the original clips, and you kind of know what time you want to use, that can be helpful. Next up, if we go down a couple notches, click and hold on that, we can see we have a slip and a slide tool. So let's take a look at those. So I'm going to choose the first one, which is the slip tool. And let's see what happens when I click on a clip and drag. So again, notice we've got multiple things happening on our program panel. So what the slip tool does is it keeps the duration of that single clip the same, doesn't actually move any edit points in your main timeline sequence, but it kind of acts like a window and it shows a different piece of your source clip through that same window. So we can say initially this clip went from, I'll go with these numbers, about 19 seconds 23 frames to 25 seconds 25 frames. If I drag it to the right, I'm going to get an earlier part of that clip because I'm pushing it downstream. So now we're in like 18 seconds to 24 seconds. Drag to the left, the opposite happens. So I'll get a later piece of that clip. The program panel is showing me the beginning and end of that clip, as well as a preview of the last scene from the clip before and the first scene from the clip after. So it's a lot going on, but if you think of it like a window, I think it makes it a bit simpler. So again, with the slip tool, you're not changing the overall length of the clip, you're just changing which part of it is shown. Also with our slip tool, we have the slide tool. So let's take a look at this one. So again, this is over a clip. So I'm not aiming for an edit point on this one, I'm aiming for the whole clip. So you know this one involves 3 clips. So again, like some of our earlier tools where we were on the edit point, like the rolling edit tool, this is sort of like a whole clip roll edit when you have the slide tool. So it's moving the whole clip up or downstream, and it's keeping the beginning and end times complete of the whole package of 3 clips. And as you might suspect, if you look up at the program panel, we've got the end scenes and the small pictures, and we've got the previews for where this clip is going to start and end, as well as some time codes. So this one can be a little dicey if you're not totally familiar with your video. So that is the slide tool. So again, we had our ripple edit, our rolling edit, our slip, and our slide. So along with the default trim tool, those are all of your editing tools for your main timeline sequence in Premiere.